Namo Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajacharya Ashtattar Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I hope all you are doing well. Today we will be reading from the Krishna book. The book name is Krishna and chapter 3. And the topic of this chapter is the birth of Lord Sri Krishna. The birth of Lord Krishna. Okay, so before we start, we pray first, then we begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद. नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So let's begin. Please listen very carefully. Very interesting and important topic. Birth of Lord Sri Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that his appearance, birth, and activity all are transcendental, and that one who understands them factually become immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord appearance or birth is not like that ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body according to his past deed. The Lord appearance is explained in the second chapter. He appeared out of his own sweet pleasure. When the time was mature for the appearance of the Lord, the constellation became very auspicious. The astrological influence of the star known as Rohini was predominant. The star is considered to be very auspicious and is under the direct supervision of Brahma. According to the astrological conclusion, beside the proper situation of star, there are auspicious and is inauspicious movement due to different situation of the different planetary system. At the time Krishna birth, the planetary system were automatically adjusted so that everything become auspicious. At that time, in all direction, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky and on the surface of earth. In all town and village and the pasturing ground and within the mind of everyone. There were signs of good fortune. The river were flowing full of water and lake were beautifully decorated with lotus flower. The forest were full with beautiful birds and peacock. All the birds within the forest began to sing with a sweet voice, and the peacock began to dance along with their consort. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flower, and the sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, Brahmana, who were accustomed to offering sacrifice in the fire, found their home very pleasant for offering. Due to disturbance created by the demoniac king, the sacrificial fire had been almost stopped in the house of Brahmana. But now they could find the opportunity to start the fire peacefully. Being forbidden to offer sacrifice, the Brahmana had been very much distressed in mind, intelligent and activities. But just on the point of Krishna's appear, automatically their mind become full of joy because they could hear transcendental vibration in the sky proclaiming the appearance of Supreme Personality Godhead. The denizens of Gandharvas and Kinnara planet began to sing, and the denizens of Siddhaloka and the planet of Charanas began to offer prayer in the service of personality Godhead. In the heavenly planet, the angels and their wife, along with their Vidadharas and their wife, began to dance. The great sage and the demigod, being pleased, began to shower flower. At the seashore, there was a sound of mild wave. Above the sea, there was a cloud in the sky which began to thunder very pleasingly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing in the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as a supreme personality Godhead before Devaki, who appeared as the son of the demigod goddess, who appeared as one of the demigoddess. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at the time could be compared to the rising of the full moon over eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that Lord Sri Krishna appeared on the eighth day of the waning moon. There could be no rising of full moon. In 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 answer to this, it may be considered that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on the night, because of the Lord appearance in the dynasty wherein the moon in himself original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So, by the grace of Krishna, he could appear just like a full moon. In the astronomical treatise by the name of constellation Kamanika, the constellation at the time of appearance of Lord Krishna are very nicely described. It is confirmed that the child born at that auspicious moment was the supreme Brahman or absolute truth. Vasudeva saw that wonderful child born as a baby with four hands, holding conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower, decorated with a mark of Srivatsa, wearing the jewel necklace of Kaustava stone, dressed in yellow silk, appearing dazzling like a bright blackish cloud, wearing the helmet bedecked with the Vaidurya, Vaidurya stone, valuable bracelet, earring, and similar other ornament all over his body, and the and beautified by the abundance of hair of his head. Due to the extraordinary feature of the child, Vasudeva was struck with wonder. How could a newly born child be so decorated? He could therefore understand that Lord Krishna had now appeared, and he became overpowered by the occasion. Vasudeva was humbly wondered that although he was an ordinary living entity conditioned by material nature, was extremely imprisoned by Kamsha, and all pervading personality of Godhead Vishnu or Krishna had appeared as a child in his home, exactly in his original position. No earthly child is born with four hands decorated with ornament and nice clothing, fully equipped with all sign of supreme personality Godhead. Over and over again, Vasudeva glanced at his child and he considered how to celebrate this auspicious moment. Generally, when a male child is born, he thought people observe the occasion with a jubilant celebration. And in my home, although I am imprisoned, the Supreme Personality Godhead has taken birth. Now, the millions of time should I be prepared to observe this auspicious ceremony. When Vasudeva, who is called when Vasudeva, who is also called Anaka Dhundubi, was looking at the newborn baby, he was so happy that he wanted to give many thousands of cow in charity of the Brahmana. According to the Vedic system, whenever there is auspicious ceremony in the Kshatriya's king palace, out of the joy, king gives many things in charity. Cow decorated with a golden ornament are delivered to the Brahmana and sages. Vasudeva wanted to perform a charitable ceremony to celebrate Krishna's appearance, but because he was shackled with the wall of Kamsa's prison, this was not possible. Instead, within his mind, he gave thousands of cow to Brahmana. When Vasudeva was convinced that the one child was the Supreme Personality Godhead himself, he bowed down with folded hand and began to offer him prayer. At the time, Vasudeva was a transcendental position. He became completely free from all fear of Krishna. The newborn baby was flashing his effulgence within the room in which he appeared. Vasudeva then began to offer his prayer, My dear Lord, I can understand who you are. You are the Supreme Personality Godhead, the Super Soul of all living entity and absolute truth. You have appeared in your own eternal form, which is directly perceived by us. I understand that because I am afraid of Krishna, you have appeared just to deliver me from the fear. You do not belong to this material kind of world. You are same person who bring about the cosmic manifestation simply by glancing over material nature. One many argue that Supreme Personality Godhead who create the whole cosmic manifestation simply by his glance cannot come within the home of Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. To eradicate this statement, Vasudeva said, My dear Lord, it is not very wonderful thing that you have appeared within the home of Devaki, because the creation was also made in that way. You were on the casual ocean of Mahavishnu as a Mahavishnu, and by your breathing process, innumerable universe came into existence. Then you entered into the each universe as a Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Then again, you expand yourself as a Kirodakashaya Vishnu, as entered into the heart of all living entity. And even into the atom, therefore, your entrance into the Om of Devaki is understandable in the same way. You appear to have entered, and you are simultaneously all pervading. You can understand your entrance and then non entrance from material. Example, the total material energy remain intact even after being divided into 16 elements. The material body is nothing but a combination of five gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether. Whenever there is a material body, it appears that such elements are newly created, but actually the elements are already existing outside of body. Similarly, although you have appeared as a child in the womb of Devaki, you are existing outside. You are always in your abode, but still you can simultaneously expand yourself in the millions of forms. One who has understand your appearance with a great intelligence, because the material energy is also emanating from you. You are original source of material energy. Just as sun is the source of sunshine, the sunshine cannot cover the sun globe, nor can the material energy. Being the emanation from you, cover you. You appear to be in the three mode of material energy, but actually the three mode of material energy cannot cover you. This is understood by the this is understood by the highly intellectual philosopher. In other words, although you appear to be within the material energy, you are never covered by it. We hear from the Vedic version that Supreme Brahman exhibit his effulgence, and therefore everything become illuminated. We can understand from the Brahma Samhita that Brahma Jyoti or the Brahman effulgence emanate from the body of the Supreme Lord, and from the Brahman effulgence the creation take place. It is also stated in Bhagavad Gita that Lord is support of Brahman effulgence. Therefore, originally he is the root cause of everything. But the person who is less intelligent thing, when the Supreme Personality Godhead came with the material world, he accept the material quality. Such conclusions are not very mature, but are made by less intelligent. The Supreme Personality Godhead is directly and indirectly existing everywhere. He is outside this material creation, and he is also within it. He is within the material creation, and not only as a Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, he is also within the atom. The existence of atom is due to his presence. Nothing can be separated from his existence. In the Vedic injunction, we find that the super soul, or the root cause of everything, has to be searched out, because nothing exists independently of the super soul. Therefore, the material manifestation is also transformation of his potency, both inert matter of the living force, the soul are emanation from him. Only the foolish conclude that when the Supreme Lord appear, he accept the condition of matter. Even if he appear to have accept a material body, he is still not subjected to any material condition. Krishna has therefore appeared and defected all imperfect conclusion over the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality Godhead. O Lord, your appearance and existence and disappearance are beyond the influence of material quality, because your lordship is supreme Brahman and controller of everything. There is nothing conceivable or contradictory in you. As you have said, material nature works under your superintendence, just like a government officer working under the order of chief executive. The influence of subordinate activity cannot affect you, since you are the supreme Brahman. Everything is existing within you, and since all the activity of the material nature are controlled by the lordship, none of these activity affect you. You are called Suklam, Suklam or whiteness. In the symbolic representation of the absolute truth, because it is unaffected by the material quality, Lord Brahma is called Rakta, red, because Brahma represents the quality of the passion of creation. Darkness is entrusted to the Lord Shiva, because he annihilated the cosmos. The creation, annihilate, and maintenance of the cosmic manifestation conducted by your potency, yet you are always unaffected by those quality, as confirmed in the Veda. Harihi Nirguna Shak, Shak, Shakshat. Harihi Nirguna Shakshat. The Supreme Personality of the Godhead is always free from all material quality. It is also said that the quality of the passion and ignorance are all the non existence in the person of the Supreme Lord. My Lord, you are the supreme controller, the personality of Godhead, the supreme great, the maintaining the order of the cosmic manifestation. Yet in spirit of your being, the supreme controller, you have so kindly appeared in my home. The purpose of your appearance is to kill the follower of the demoniac ruler of the world, who are in the dress in the royal prince, but actually demon. I am sure that you will kill all of them, their kind of follower and the soldier. I understand you have appeared in order to kill this uncivilized Kamsha and his follower. But knowing that you were to appear in order to kill him and his follower, he had already killed so many of your predecessor, your elder brother. Now he is simply awaiting the news of your birth. As soon as he hears about it, will immediately appear with all kind of weapon to kill you. After his prayer, Vasudeva, Devaki, the mother of Krishna, offered her prayer. She was very frightened because of her brother atrocities. Atrocities. Sorry, her brother atrocities. Devaki said, "My dear Lord, your eternal form, like Narayana, Lord Rama, Hayashirsha, Baraha, Nrsimha, Bamana, Baldeva, millions of similar incarnations emanating from Vishnu, are described in the Vedic literature as original. You are original because all your form as incarnation as outside of the material creation. Your form were existing before the cosmic manifestation was created. Your form are eternal and all pervading. They all are self effulgent, changeless, uncontaminated by the material quality. Such eternal form are overcognizant and full of bliss. They are situated in transcendental goodness and always engaged in different pastimes. You are not limited to particular form only. You are all such transcendental eternal form are self-sufficient. I can understand that you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu. After many millions of years, when the Lord Brahma came to end of his life, annihilation of the cosmic manifestation take place. At the at that time, the five elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether, entered into the Mahatattva. Then the Mahatattva then enter into the force of time, into non-manifested total material energy. The material energy entered into the energetic pradhana, and the pradhana entered into you. Therefore, after the annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation, you alone remain with your transcendental name, form, quality, and paraphernalia. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are the director of the unmanifested total energy and the ultimate reservoir of material nature. My Lord, the whole cosmic manifestation is under influence of time, beginning from the moment of to the duration of the year. All act under your direction. You are the original director of everything and the reservoir all potent energy. All the conditioned soul are continuously fleeing from one body to another, one planet to another, yet they do not get free from the onslaught of birth and death. But when one of these fearful living entity come under the shelter of your lotus feet, he can lie down without anxiety of being attacked by formidable death. This statement by Devaki is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord Himself. There the Lord says that even after traveling all over the universe from Brahmaloka to Pataloka, one cannot escape the attack of birth and death, disease and old age. But one who entered in the kingdom of God, Lord say, is never again obliged to come in the material world. Therefore, my Lord, I request you to save me from the cruel hand of Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena. I am praying to your lordship to please rescue me from the fearful condition because you are always ready to give protection your servitor. The Lord has confirmed this statement in the Bhagavad Gita by assuring Arjuna, you may declare to the world, my devotee shall never vanquished. While thus praying to the Lord for rescue, Mother Devaki nonetheless expressed her motherly affection. I understand that this transcendental form is generally prescribed in the meditation by the great sage. I am still afraid because as soon as comes to understand that you have appeared, you might harm you. So I request that for time being you become invisible to your to our material eye. In other words, she requested Lord to assume the form of ordinary child. My only cause of fear from my brother Kamsha is due to your appearance, my lord Madhusudana. I wish that Kamsha may not learn that you are already born. Therefore, I request you to conceal this four form to your lordship, which hold the four symbol of Vishnu, namely concealed disc and club and lotus flower. My dear Lord, at the end of annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, you put the universe within your abdomen. You put the whole universe within your abdomen. Still, by your unalloyed mercy, you have appeared in my home. I am surprised that you imitate the activity of ordinary human being just to please your devotee. On hearing the prayer of Devaki, Lord replied, my dear mother, in the millennium of Shayambhu Manu, my father Vasudeva was living as one of the Prajapati. His name was the time of the Sutapa, and you were the wife named Prishni. At that time, when Lord Brahma was desiring to increase the population, he requested you to generate offspring. You control your senses and perform severe austerity by practicing the breathing exercise of the yoga system. Both you and your husband could tolerate all the influence of material law, the rainy season, the onslaught of the wind, and the scorching heat of the sunshine. You also executed all religion of principle. In this way, you were able to cleanse your heart and control the influence of the material law. You used to eat only the leaf of the tree which fell on the ground. Then with only fell on the ground. Then then with the steady mind and control sex and drive, you worshipped me, desiring some wonderful benediction from me. Both of you practice severe austerity for the 12,000 year by the calculation of the demigod. During the time, your mind was always absorbed in me. When you were executing devotional service and always thinking of me within your heart, I was very much pleased with you. O sinless mother, your heart is therefore always pure. At that time, I appeared before you in the form just to fulfill your desire. And I asked you to ask whatever you desire. At that time, you wished to have me born as your son. Although you saw me personally, instead of asking for your complete liberation from material bondage, under the influence of my energy, you asked me to become your son. In other words, to appear in the material world, the Lord selected his mother and father, namely Prishni and Shutapa. Whatever the Lord comes as a human being, he must have a mother and a father. So he selected Prishni and Shutapa to be his mother and father perpetually. And on the account of this, neither Prishni and Sutapa could ask the Lord for liberation. Liberation is not so important as the transcendental loving service to the Lord. The Lord could have awarded Prishnasutapa immediate liberation, but he preferred to keep them within the material world for his different appearance, as will be explained in the following verse. On the receiving of the benediction from the Lord to become his father and mother, Sutapa and Prisni retired from the activity of austerity and lived as husband and wife in order to beget the child who was the Supreme Lord himself. In due course of time, Prishni became pregnant and gave birth to child. The Lord spoke Devaki and Vasudeva. At the time, my name was Prishnigarbha. In next millennium, you took birth as Aditi and Kashyapa. I became your child of the name of Upendra. At that time, my form was just like a dwarf, and for this reason, I was known as a Bhamandeva. I gave you the benediction that I would take birth as your son 3 times. The first time I was known as a Prishnigarbha, born as a Prishni and Sutapa. In the next birth, I was Upendra, born as Aditya and Kashyapa. And now for third time, I was born as a Krishna for you, Devaki and Vasudeva. I have appeared in this Vishnu form just to convince you that I am the same Supreme Personality Godhead. Again, take birth. I could have appeared just like an ordinary child, but in that way, you would not have believed that the Supreme Personality Godhead has taken birth in your home. My dear father and mother, you have therefore raised me many times as your child with the great affection of love. I am therefore very much pleased and obliged to you. I assure you that this time you shall go back home, back to Godhead on account of your perfection on your mission in your mission. I know I know you are very concerned about me and afraid of Kamsha. Therefore, I order you to take me immediately to Goloka and exchange me for the daughter who has just been born to Yashoda, who has just been Therefore, I order you to take me immediately to Goloka and exchange me for the daughter who has just been born to Yashoda. Having spoken thus to his father and mother, the Lord turned immediately into an ordinary child in their presence and remained silent. Being ordered by the Supreme Personality Godhead, Vasudeva prepared to take him for the son of the delivery room. And exactly at that time, the daughter was born, Nanda and Jasoda. She was Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Lord. By the influence of internal potency, Yogamaya, all the residents of Kamsa's place, especially the doorkeeper, were overwhelmed with a deep sleep. And at the and all the place door opened, although there was a bird the shackled with a iron chain. The night was very dark. As soon as the Vasudeva was took Krishna on the lap when it went on, he could see everything just as in the sunlight. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Krishna is just like a sunlight, and that Krishna is just like a sunlight, and whatever there is Krishna, the illusionary energy which is compared to darkness cannot remain. When Vasudeva was carrying Krishna, the darkness of night disappeared. and the prison door automatically opened. At the same time, there was a thunder in the sky and the severe rainfall. While Vasudeva was carrying to his son Krishna in the falling rain, Lord Shesha, in the shape of the serpent, spread his hood over the head of Vasudeva so that he would not be hampered by would not be hampered by rainfall. Vasudeva came onto the bank of Yamuna and saw the water of Yamuna was roaring with a wave, and that the whole span was full of foam. Still in the furious feature, the river gave passage to Vasudeva to cross, just as the great Indian Ocean gave the path to Lord Rama when he was bridging over the Gulf. In this way, Vasudeva crossed the river Yamuna. On other side, he went to the palace Nanda Maharaj situated on Goloka, where he saw that all the cowherd men were first asleep. He took opportunity to silent enter the house of Yashoda, and without the difficulty, he exchanged his son for the baby girl, newly born baby there. Then after entering the house very silently and exchanging the boy for the girl, he returned to the prison Kamsa and slightly put the girl on the lap of Devaki. He again clamped the shackle on himself so that Kamsa could not recognize that so many things had happened. Mother Yashoda understood that a child had been born for her. Mother Yashoda understood that a child had been born to her. But because she was very tired from the labor of the childbirth, she fell fast asleep. When she awoke, she could not remember whether she had given birth to a male or a female child. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of third chapter of Krishna, the birth of Lord Sri Krishna. The birth of Lord Krishna. I hope all you have understood. Now let's jump into the presentation, both audio and video presentation. Please listen till the end. You will get the better understanding. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into a story that starts, well, not in a grand palace, but in a prison cell. And this isn't just any story. It's one of the cornerstones of the Vedic scriptures. It's all about a birth so powerful, so cosmic, that the entire universe basically hit pause to celebrate. We're talking about the incredible appearance of Lord Krishna. Right from the get-go, the story makes it clear this is a huge deal. The word used is transcendental, and that's a really key idea here. What does that even mean? Well, it means we're not talking about a regular historical event. This is something that happens completely outside the normal rules of our world. Physics, biology, all that stuff. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated, spiritual, and cosmic significance. So, as the big moment gets closer, you can feel this shift in the entire universe. It's like the whole cosmos was holding its breath. The vibe changes completely. It goes from this heavy, oppressive feeling, because, the world was being run by these pretty nasty demoniac kings, to an atmosphere of pure joy and good fortune. And this is where it gets just cinematic. I mean, think about this. Nature itself starts to celebrate. It's not subtle either. The planets literally realign themselves for good luck. The rivers are flowing full, lakes are suddenly covered in lotuses, peacocks start dancing. Even the brahmanas, the priestly class who'd been totally suppressed, they suddenly feel this wave of peace and can light their sacred fires again. It's like the world itself is healing, all in anticipation of this one birth. And get this, it wasn't just happening down here on Earth. Oh no. Up in the heavens, the party was just getting started. You've got celestial singers, the Gandharvas and Kinnaras, just belting it out. Demigods and angels are dancing, they're showering flowers down from the sky. I mean, every single level of existence is tuned in and celebrating this one single event. Okay, so now we get to the moment itself. Picture this, we're back in that dark, heavily guarded prison cell, and the child finally appears before his father, Vasudeva. But what Vasudeva sees, it's not a tiny, helpless newborn. No, what he sees is something absolutely wondrous. And, let's be honest, probably completely shocking. Yeah, look at this. this really gets to the heart of the miracle, doesn't it? On one hand, you have what a newborn baby should look like, but on the other, that's what Vasudeva saw. Not a baby, but a divine being with 4 arms, each holding something significant: a conch, a club, a disc, and a lotus flower. These are all symbols of his immense power and beauty. So this isn't just an infant. This is the Supreme Lord revealing his true, magnificent cosmic form right there in a prison cell. So how do you even react to that? For Vasudeva, it was just pure wonder. He was totally blown away. He immediately understood who this was. And even though he's a prisoner, chained up, his first instinct is one of pure joy. He wants to throw a massive celebration, the kind a king would have, giving away thousands of cows in charity. Of course, he can only do it in his mind, but that's where his heart went immediately. But here's where the story gets really interesting and really human, because the parents have completely different reactions to seeing this divine child. You have the father, who's just filled with awe. And then you have the mother, and she is feeling something else entirely. For Vasudeva, the moment he sees this divine form, all his fear just evaporates. Gone. The terror he had of the tyrant Kamsa, it's completely replaced by this overwhelming sense of awe. He starts offering these beautiful prayers because he gets it. This isn't just his son. This is a cosmic power who has literally shown up to save him. But then there's Davaki, the mother, and her reaction is the complete opposite. Where Vasudeva sees a savior, she sees a target. All she can think about is her cruel brother, Kamsa, who she knows is waiting right outside to kill this baby. And this magnificent, 4-armed, glowing form, it's like a giant neon sign pointing right at him. For her, this divine vision isn't a comfort. It feels like a death sentence for her child. It's just pure, raw, maternal instinct kicking in. It completely overrides any sense of awe. And so she begs him, she pleads with the Lord to hide all of this, to hide his godliness. She's basically saying, please, just be a normal baby. Be an ordinary human child so I can protect you. So you've got these 2 very different, very powerful prayers coming from his parents. And in response, the Lord does something incredible. He doesn't just act, he explains. He tells them exactly why he chose them, and it turns out their connection goes back way, way back. He tells them about their past lives. He says, look, a long time ago, you were a couple named Prishni and Sutapa, and for 12,000 years, you performed these intense austerities. And you only wanted one thing, to have me as your son. And he granted that wish. He promised he would be born to them 3 times. And this birth, right here, right now, in this prison, this is him making good on that 3rd and final promise. And suddenly, it all makes sense. That's why he appeared in that spectacular 4-armed form first. It wasn't just a power move. It was proof. It was his way of saying, hey, it's me. I'm the one you prayed for all those thousands of years ago. I'm keeping my promise. It was to reassure them beyond any shadow of a doubt. So once he's explained everything and they understand, he does exactly what his mother asked. He transforms. Right before their eyes, he becomes an ordinary, helpless-looking infant. And then he commands his father, Vasudeva, to start what has to seem like a completely impossible escape. And what happens next is just this incredible cascade of miracles. One after another. Every single obstacle just vanishes. All the guards, they fall into this deep magical sleep. The heavy iron chains and the massive barred doors, they just unlock and swing open by themselves. And then he gets to the Yamuna River, which is raging because of a storm, and the river itself parts to let him walk across. Just amazing. And as if that wasn't enough, while Vasudeva is crossing the river in this massive downpour, another miracle happens. The great cosmic serpent, Lord Shesha, the one who's said to literally hold up the planets, he rises up out of the water and spreads his giant hoods over them, acting like a divine umbrella to keep the rain off the baby. It's like every single part of creation is working together to make sure this child gets to safety. So, the final piece of this impossible plan falls into place when he reaches the village of Gokula. Vasudeva quietly gets to the home of Nanda and Yashoda, and he swaps his son for their newborn baby girl. And here's the final subtle touch of magic. Yashoda is so exhausted from childbirth that when she wakes up, she has no idea what just happened. She can't even remember if she had a boy or a girl. And just like that, the exchange is complete. So, the stage is set, right? The divine child who is destined to change the world is now hidden away, safe in a quiet village. But the tyrant who wants him dead is still back in his palace, and he knows a child was born that night, which leaves us hanging with this huge question. What's going to happen next? What happens when Kamsa finds out the baby waiting for him in that prison cell isn't the one he was expecting?
Now we completed the video presentation. Let's begin with audio podcast.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into it, looking at the source material behind, well, one of the most anticipated events you could imagine, the appearance of Lord Come. We've got these detailed accounts, and this is crucial, we're not talking about a regular birth story here. Our goal is to understand the divine planning, the whole setup required for the supreme personality of Godhead to manifest on Earth.
That's really the key thing for you, the listener, to hold on to. The sources are very clear. This is termed a transcendental appearance. It's not like an ordinary birth that's forced by past actions, by karma.
Okay.
The Lord appears entirely by his own volition, out of his own sweet pleasure, as the text put it. So he's never controlled by material nature or, the normal cycle of birth and death.
Right, not bound by the usual rules. So if this event is totally outside material laws, what were the signs? What did people or the universe actually see or experience that signaled this arrival? We need to look beyond just the prison cell, maybe starting with the bigger picture, the cosmos.
Absolutely. We have to start with the cosmic setup. This wasn't just, something that happened randomly. The universe itself was adjusted for this moment.
Adjusted? How so?
Well, the sources talk about incredible astrological precision. The star Rohit, for instance, was absolutely predominant.
And Rohis is considered auspicious.
Deeply auspicious, yes. And it's even said to be supervised by Brahma. And beyond that, every planetary system, we're told, just automatically shifted into a perfectly favorable alignment.
Wow. Okay, so the heavens align. And did that filter down? Did it affect Earth?
Oh, immediately.
Yeah.
That celestial precision translated directly into this feeling of peace on Earth. It's like the whole atmosphere just breathed easier.
So peace and prosperity felt everywhere.
In all directions, yeah, east, west, north, south. And the physical environment reacted too. Rivers started flowing really full. Lakes were suddenly blooming with lotus flowers.
Lotuses? Oh.
And in the forests, you had birds singing, peacocks dancing. Even the wind, the descriptions say, became pleasant and carried these beautiful floral scents.
It sounds idyllic, but you mentioned something earlier about tyranny. Was there a spiritual side to this change too?
Yes, and that's a really significant detail. This feeling of peace had a practical impact. The Brahmanas, the priests, could finally perform their fire sacrifices again.
Ah, because they'd been stopped before.
Exactly, stopped by the demoniac kings who were ruling. So their minds, which had been full of distress, suddenly became joyful. They could hear these transcendental vibrations in the air, signaling that change was coming.
And it wasn't just on Earth.
No, up in the celestial realms, the party had already started, basically. The Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Siddhas, Karnas, all these celestial beings began singing, offering prayers. Angels and demigods were dancing, showering flowers down onto the earth.
Okay, so total cosmic celebration. But here's something that seems counterintuitive. The full moon paradox. The sources say Kanaya appeared on the 8th day after the full moon during the waning phase.
Correct.
Yet the moon looked completely full that night. How does that work astronomically?
Well, the explanation given is really quite beautiful and symbolic.
Yeah.
Kun appeared in the lineage, the dynasty of the moon.
Okay.
So because the Supreme Lord himself was appearing in its family line, so to speak, the moon became overjoyous.
Overjoyed.
Yes, and in that joy, it manifested its fullest possible form, shining brilliantly, completely ignoring the calendar date. It's a lovely image.
The universe bending the rules for the big event.
And is this just poetic description, or is there any external confirmation?
Well, the sources actually cite an astronomical treatise, the Kamankya.
Kamankya.
Yes, and it apparently confirmed that the child born at that precise, auspicious, perfectly aligned moment was, in fact, the Supreme Brahman, the absolute truth.
So we have astronomical records noting the uniqueness of that exact time.
That's the claim. It bridges the devotional narrative with a kind of empirical observation, suggesting even those just watching the stars recognize something extraordinary was happening then. Okay, so the world outside is celebrating, the planets are aligned, the moon is full when it shouldn't be. But inside that dark prison cell, Devaki and Vasudeva are terrified, waiting for Kasa to kill their 8th child. What happens when the divine actually enters that space?
Right, the contrast is stark. Lord Vitu appeared
Yeah.
in the dead of night, in the darkness. But you have to picture this. It wasn't a helpless little baby.
No.
No, the sources are very specific. The child had 4 arms,
4 arms holding.
holding the symbols of Vitu: the conch shell, the club, the disc, and lotus flower.
Wow. So an immediate statement of power. Not crying, but fully armed.
And fully decorated, marked with the Savatsa symbol on his chest, wearing the brilliant Kostuit jewel necklace, dressed in yellow silk.
Yellow silk.
His form described as dazzling, like a bright blackish cloud, and wearing a helmet, bracelets, really valuable ornaments. The sheer appearance just shattered the bleak reality of that prison.
And Vasudeva, the father.
Yeah.
He's shackled, he's expecting the worst, and then this appears. How did he react?
He was struck with wonder, profound wonder. He understood immediately this wasn't an ordinary child born out of karma.
He recognized it instantly.
Instantly, he saw the all-pervading personality of Godhead had appeared in his home, exactly in his original position, as the text says. And what's amazing is how he transcended his own fear and situation.
I mean, his reaction wasn't just awe.
No, it was also about duty. Even though he was physically chained, he remembered the tradition.
The tradition for a birth.
Yes, upon the birth of a son, especially one like this, the custom is to give thousands of cows in charity.
But he couldn't do that. He was in prison.
Exactly. So he performed the charity mentally. He mentally offered thousands of cows decorated with gold to the Brahmins, fulfilled the entire obligation on the spiritual mental platform.
That's incredible focus. To do that while facing death? But his reaction didn't stop there, right? He started thinking philosophically.
He did. His prayer gets right to the heart of the theological tension here. He basically asked the question, if you, the Supreme Lord, create the entire cosmos just by glancing, how is it possible that you can enter and be contained within the womb of Devaki?
Right. If you're infinite, how can you appear finite even for birth? It's the classic transcendence versus immanence problem.
Precisely. And Vasudeva reasons it through. He understands the Lord's appearance is fundamentally different because it's voluntary, not forced by karma like ours is.
But wait, if the Lord is already everywhere, like within every atom, as the sources say, why is entering a womb such a conceptual hurdle? Isn't he already inside everything?
Ah, that's a great point. It's because we perceive the womb as a limited material container subject to decay and change. Vasudeva's insight is that the Lord's entrance is possible, only because he is simultaneously everywhere else.
Okay.
He reflects on how the Lord expands first as Mahavino, creating the universes, then enters each one as Garbhodaka Shivino, and crucially, he's also Garbhodaka Shivino, the supersoul present within every single atom.
So the very existence of the material world, the prison, the shackles, the womb, relies on his presence within them already.
Exactly. His appearing inside the prison isn't him being contained by it. It's just another manifestation of his all-pervading nature.
So he can't be limited by something that depends on him for its existence.
Right. Vasudeva uses the analogy of the sun and sunshine. The sun is the source of sunshine, but the sunshine can't cover or obscure the sun itself.
Ah, I see. So the material energy, the prison cell, it's like the sunshine. It emanates from the Lord, so it can't possibly cover or affect the source.
Precisely. That makes the prison completely irrelevant to his actual nature and power.
That's why the texts call him Shuklam, whiteness, or the absolute truth, and Nirguta Seket, meaning he's always free from material qualities.
Yes, even when he seems to be interacting within the material world. Vasudeva concludes the immediate purpose of this particular appearance, though, was practical, to deal with the demoniac rulers, like Kasa, who are oppressing the world disguised as royalty.
Okay, that's Vasudeva's realization. What about Devaki? She sees this four-armed divine form, but her reaction is different.
Very different. It's dominated by maternal fear. She absolutely recognizes him. She praises his eternal forms, Narya, Rama, Vamana, acknowledging their beyond material creation.
But then
Her immediate desperate thought is Kosa. She begs the Lord, please save us from Kosa, and she specifically asks him to hide the four-armed form.
hide it. Why?
She says basically, become an ordinary-looking child so Kosa doesn't find out who you are and kill you. She wants him to conceal his divinity for his own safety.
Wow. The divine being asked to play vulnerable for practical reasons, and it's this plea that leads to a big revelation, doesn't it?
It does. It's a really touching moment. The Lord responds by assuring them, essentially, don't worry. He reveals that they, Vasudeva and Devaki, are actually his perpetual eternal parents.
Eternal parents. How?
He explains that lifetimes ago, back in the age of Svayambhuva Manu, they were named Sutapa and Pini, and they performed unbelievable austerities.
Oh.
For 12,000 demigod years. That's an immense span of time. Eating only fallen leaves, controlling their senses completely.
All just for?
All for one single desire, that the Supreme Lord himself would be born as their son.
And he granted that wish.
He did. This appearance as Kins is actually the third time he has fulfilled that specific desire for them. They weren't just granted liberation, they were given the eternal role of being his parents.
What were the other times?
First, as Piringigarba, born directly from Punini. Second, when they were Aditi and Kaishapa, he appeared as Vomanadeva, or Upendra. And now, the third time, as Kinta.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So after reassuring them, confirming their eternal relationship and their spiritual perfection, he tells Vasudeva what to do next.
Yes. He says, essentially, you've achieved perfection, you'll come back to me soon, but right now, take me to Gokula, immediately.
And just like that?
Just like that, the Lord transforms. He conceals the four-armed form, becomes visually an ordinary infant, and falls silent. The divine display is over. The escape plan begins.
The ultimate prison break, indeed. So how does Vasudeva, who's still shackled, get out of a locked fortress full of guards? They didn't just stay asleep, did they?
This is where Yogamaya comes in. The Lord's internal spiritual potency. It wasn't ordinary sleep.
Yogamaya. Yeah.
At the exact moment Cain transformed, a baby girl was born to Mother Yashoda over in Gokula. This baby girl was Yogamaya. And through her influence, everyone in Kaya's palace, guards, doorkeepers, everyone fell into a deep, profound, unbreakable sleep.
So this isn't Mahamaya, the external illusion. This is a specific internal energy.
Exactly. Yogamaya is for arranging the Lord's divine activities, not for causing general confusion or illusion. It specifically neutralized the obstacles. And then the doors.
What about the doors? Locked, barred, iron doors.
It just opened automatically. All of them. The path was cleared.
So Vasudeva, carrying the baby Kam, just walks out into the night.
Into the dark night. But the text says he could see everything perfectly clearly, as if it were day. Because Kita is compared to the sun. Wherever the Lord is personally present, darkness or ignorance or illusion simply can't remain. The darkness itself fled.
And then the weather kicks up. Rain, thunder.
Yes, a huge storm breaks out. Seems like terrible timing, but
more divine intervention.
Exactly. Lord Sia, the great serpent who serves the Lord, appeared.
As a giant snake.
Yes, and spread his massive hoods over Vasudeva and Kina, like a giant umbrella, shielding them completely from the downpour.
Amazing. So he gets to the Yamuna River. It must be flooding from the storm. How does he cross that?
The river was roaring, full of waves and foam. But as Vasudeva approached, the river itself parted, creating a path for him to walk across.
Like the Red Sea.
The comparison made is actually to the Indian Ocean giving way for Lord Rama. The river Yamuna, recognizing the Supreme Lord, respectfully allowed passage.
So he reaches Gokula, finds Yashoda's house.
Walks right in. Everyone there is also asleep under Yogamaya's influence. He finds Mother Yashoda and the baby girl.
And just swaps the babies.
Silently places Canton down, picks up the baby girl, turns around, walks back across the river.
The river closes behind him.
Presumably. He gets back to the prison cell, places the baby girl on Devaki's lap, and then clamps the iron shackles back onto himself.
And nobody wakes up.
Nobody. The exchange was seamless. It's even mentioned that Mother Yashoda was so tired from childbirth and the mystic sleep that when she finally woke up later, she couldn't even remember if she'd given birth to a boy or a girl.
Wow. The whole operation executed perfectly, silently. So we've seen the cosmos rearrange itself, the laws of nature suspended, a locked prison bypassed, all to facilitate the appearance and then the safe transfer of the Lord, who first revealed his supreme form before hiding it.
It really underscores the central point. The Lord's existence, his appearance, his disappearance, none of it is bound by material conditions or laws. He is the source of everything, including material energy, so that energy can never actually cover or limit him, whether he appears in a palace or, a dungeon.
It leaves us with a pretty profound thought, doesn't it, for you listening right now? The sources are telling us that the very existence of the atoms that make up everything around us, including ourselves, is due to the Lord's presence within them as the supersoul. Nothing exists independently. So if that ultimate source, that supreme soul, is simultaneously inside every single tiny atom and yet completely untouched and unaffected by the gross material world, like the storm, the river, the iron bars, What does that imply about the true nature of the reality that you experience every single day? Something to think about.